Thessanika, this is for you. Hi. This is Melissa too. She's new. She's in 529 this term and doing awesome. So we're doing an improv round, Thessanika. So I think you're really going to love this because it's easy to do when you're. I just got distracted because I was like, okay, and I'll put the handout in Slack so that you can see it. But it's easy to do from a recording, so this is going to work out great. Um, so we have the handout in the chat. Were y'all able to download it? And the plan is to read a little bit to get inspired. And I wanted to go from snoozing. So the first piece is from snoozing, and it's by our beloved Lori O'Brien. We're going to read just to kind of get going and then do some improv. Would you be willing, Lori, to read it?
Sure.
Thank you. I think it's great. I really enjoy
Oh, thanks. Dreamweavers by me. Once
In
upon a time,
snoozing.
in Snoozine, yes. Once upon a time, there were two sisters born less than a minute apart. If you read their descriptions in a book, you would think they were identical twins. But if you saw them skipping down the lane between the huckleberry bushes, you would know that they were as different as apple pie and anchovies. Both girls had blonde hair, fair complexions, and green eyes. However, one sister had hair as golden as a ray of sunshine, eyes as green as the sea after a spring shower, and skin as white as the purest snow, while the other sister had hair as yellow as mustard, eyes as green as relish, and skin as white as mayonnaise. The daughter resembling nature was named Glissandra. Her parents always called her by her full name. It suited her, they said. The daughter resembling hamburger condiments was named Mackenzie, but her parents called her by her nickname, Big Mac. Mackenzie preferred just plain Mac. Glissandra was a lovely, graceful girl who moved like water trickling over smooth rocks down a gently sloping hill. Mackenzie was square and gruff, and she moved like water frozen into large blocks and flung with great force down the hill, crashing onto the ground below. The sisters were different in many ways, but they shared one significant trait. They both possessed the ability to enter people's dreams. If a person was having a horrible nightmare, Glissandra would conjure up bluebirds and rainbows and sparkling streams to ease the person's torment. If a person was having a wonderful dream, Mac would add loud crashes and perhaps squirt some ketchup around, which looks a lot like blood, since anyone who is completely blissful when asleep might never want to wake up. Glissandra and Mac thought nothing of their unique ability. Entering people's dreams had become as second nature to them as filling each square on a waffles top with butter and maple syrup. Every evening, at that magical time when the day was waving its farewell and the night was just waking up, the girls would lie in their beds and drift away to weave their magic. One evening, far away in a remote wooden cottage at the end of the world, a little boy named Johnny Marigold lay shivering in his bed. Old Doc Benson sat on one side of the bed and held Johnny's wrist, feeling a pulse as faint as the thin wisp of breeze struggling through the open window, while Johnny's mother sat on the other side, smoothing sweat-soaked hair back from his burning forehead. There's nothing more I can do, said the doctor. He'll have to fight this on his own, but he needs to eat. He's getting weaker by the minute. Mrs. Marigold's voice broke. He hasn't eaten in 5 days. The most I can get him to do is sip a little water. Doc Benson shook his head and stood up. Keep trying. I'll check back tomorrow. Johnny moaned as he tossed and turned, his mind half mad with fever. He opened his eyes briefly and saw his mother asleep in her chair, the glow of the big red sun setting behind the rickety barn, casting mournful shadows throughout the room. His eyelids lowered, and he sank back into a tortured sleep, his favorite fairy tale having turned into a grotesque nightmare. When Glissandra and Mac arrived in Johnny's dream, they saw a little boy holding onto a beanstalk, a mad giant roaring above and throwing thunderbolts of fire down upon him. The beanstalk was swaying to and fro, and the boy was clinging to it desperately, his eyes as big and round as pancakes. Oh, this will be fun, cried Mac as she joined the giant and dropped great ripe tomatoes on the little figure. But Glissandra noted the hysteria in the boy's eyes, the chattering of his teeth, the pale cast of his skin. No, Mac, I think this nightmare is different. As they watched, a shimmering, shadowy shape emerged behind the boy, and the boy's body began to crumple. I think that's his soul, cried Glissandra. We have to save him. Glissandra blew a sleeping draught into the giant's face, causing him to sink to the ground, but not before he had hurled a final massive bolt of lightning down at the tiny figure. The boy's body stiffened, his grasp released from the beanstalk, and he began to fall. Quick, Mac, do something! Mac dove through the air and caught the falling figure in a giant lettuce leaf, floating him gently to the ground and landing him on a pile of soft hamburger buns. Now for the finishing touches, said Mac, fashioning a pillow out of pickles, covering him with a thick slice of cheddar, and piping mayonnaise all around to tuck him in. I can add some happy thoughts, said Glissandra, waving her hands over his forehead and blowing gently on his hair. The little boy gave a deep sigh, and as his breathing began to steady, Glissandra and Mac faded from his dream. Mrs. Marigold awoke with a start. She turned to Johnny and gasped. Johnny was sitting up in bed with a smile on his face as wide as the Pacific Ocean. She ran to him and hugged him tightly. He was no longer hot to the touch. How could this be? Mamma, I had the best dream, said Johnny. I was Jack and I was climbing the beanstalk, and this nice giant helped me up and read me stories. And then we played hide and seek, and then we had this big feast with all the best food. Mrs. Marigold thought of the doctor's orders. Johnny, do you think you could eat something? A cracker, maybe, or a spoonful of soup? Gee, Mama, said Johnny, what I really feel like is a cheeseburger.
Awesome. I love the fairy tale quality of this, the
Oh,
absolute speculative quality, which is something that, snoozing only publishes speculative. So, yeah. Did you have any like weird experiences reading it aloud? Like, oh, I would change this,
yeah.
or
I was thinking
really?
of all my mistakes. Yeah, adjectives, adverbs, and this and that, and telling, not showing. All the things that are beaten into our heads.
I didn't even
The
notice.
food imagery, I didn't notice any mistakes, but the food imagery was amazing.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's so good. And I'm watching Sandman right now, and it's so dark, like literally physically dark. I can't watch it until nighttime. And I'm kind of like tired anyway, so but this was great because it was like a positive spin on the dream. I loved
Yes. Yeah,
it.
and that's the two volumes that they do of their uh journal. Dreams are like kind of more positive, and then they have nightmares for the other. So volume one is dreams and volume two is nightmares, right?
Yeah. So the
Yeah.
second has been really dark.
Yeah, well, I pulled them both from dreams because you know me. But we may not read the second one here, even though it's Colleen. You have it, because I want to be able to do all the improv stuff. So, one of the things I really want to compliment on this one is how sort of expertly you apply an omniscient narrator to this story. That really works out so well because you can just hop from telling us about Glissandra and Big Mac, to Johnny's bedside, and it makes sense because there's this other voice that's telling us this story, and that is kind of a trope of fairy tale style stories, but it also is just a great example of a successful omniscient narrator, which is something I find people struggling with in the classes that I teach. So good job.
I think growing up with fairy tales and a lot of Greek mythology, a lot of fairy tales, classic fairy tales, that was some of my favorite books. I always gravitate towards, and even Aesop's fables too, I love juxtaposition of yin and yang, black and white, evil, good, the two opposites and opposing factors. And the whole opening, that whole opening paragraph is probably my favorite because as simple as it is, and as you could even say that's a trope, because it's a fairy tale trope. You have the two versions of, flip sides of the same coin kind of thing. But to go from earthy to condiments.
Fast
I can
food.
see how, like Laura, you said, it came from a comment. When somebody gives you one line, you're like, I'm gonna get a story around that, and it turns into this comical thing with your spin on the Irma Bombeck spin on the way of doing the verbiage, right? That whole opening, as simple as it is, I absolutely love it. And sometimes some of the most genius work comes out of simplicity, right? It doesn't have to get overly complicated. It doesn't have to get overly burdened with adjectives and things like that. Sometimes I learn that the good way, sometimes I learn it the hard way, right? But it's just this beautiful juxtaposition of some really unexpected things, and it makes you laugh, and yet it's endearing. The characters become endearing, you know?
Yeah, I
Thanks.
agree. That juxtaposition is fantastic. I'm glad you brought that up, Allison. Yeah. Lori, anything you want to say about Dreamweavers?
I feel like a cheeseburger.
uh, I haven't had breakfast yet, so now I'm starving. Thank
Oh,
you.
oh, it's almost 12:30 here.
The waffles
Yeah.
and the pancakes didn't help, let me tell you. Pouring
And
the
I,
butter in the square of the waffle, and yeah.
yeah, I actually found myself nodding my head how, you fill each waffle top with butter and maple syrup. Yeah.
That actually also came from them because there is a big discussion on Discord about what's better, pancakes or waffles. And Kirsten had said, well, with waffles, you have to fill each little square with butter and maple syrup. So the whole
But
story really came from them.
but part of what makes a waffle so great then is that each square has, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like syrup will go off of a pancake, right? Although
I'm definitely pro waffle.
I don't really put syrup on my bread products. I'm this weirdo who puts butter on and that's it. So it's just
Hey,
who I
Lori, can I
am.
ask you a question about Discord real quick?
Yes.
So it's like overwhelming because I'm new and I've never used it before. So where should I like start?
Hey, don't feel bad. I'm not new, and Discord is still always overwhelming to me. There's just stuff
Yeah,
everywhere.
there's some new
Well,
comments.
there's,
I didn't know they came and like,
yeah, you look down the left and like the headings will tell
all right,
what the sections are of. So if you haven't started yet, you would go to introductions and just say who you are, and
I
then
did that.
everybody will welcome you. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
And
it's a
then,
point of view, right? POV, that's the one I'm looking at.
right.
Okay. And then there's like query help, Excalibur. Some of them are bold-faced, some of them aren't.
The ones that are bold are ones that have comments that you haven't seen yet. I learned that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So once
Yeah.
you click on it and read the comments, it will unbold. But
Okay.
Excalibur is their teaching sessions on Wednesday nights at, well, it's 8 o'clock Eastern time. They
Okay.
give hour-long sessions teaching all different things, and it's great. Sometimes it's editing, sometimes it's different forms of
Mhm.
speculative fiction. And then
Is it just random to
what
join?
else?
Like you just schedule the
Oh,
time and
anybody,
join? Or
anybody can
yeah.
go, and they're always looking for people
Yeah.
because not that many people show up a lot of times, but they're always very helpful. And then writing chat is always a good one because people put in comments, questions, whatever about different things to do with writing. What else, Dr. Max? You've seen this a lot more than I have, but
Do they have
No,
writing like we do here? It's so that one you said Excalibur is that one? And it's a teaching session. Do they have anywhere you write
they also
together
have
like
writing.
shadowing in the
Well, they
Excalibur
have
one?
in all of their Excalibur sessions, they do some teaching off a PowerPoint, and then there's two 6-minute writing prompts as
Oh,
well.
good.
Or
Okay.
else the first one is just um, think of bullet points of something, and then it always ends with write a scene about it. Yeah, so
Okay.
they're great. And then every other Saturday, sometimes they hold it, sometimes they're busy, but you could check, and that would be under Excalibur at the same time. When
Okay.
yeah,
Dr. Max doesn't do it, they'll sometimes do the
they
off weeks.
sometimes do the opposite week, but
Walking
Susanna's
into
available
dis
March.
I say walking into Discord is like for me, it feels like I am in a large corporate party. There's 500 people there and, 50 conversations going on at once and some of them crisscross and it's just like too loud for me.
Yeah, and yet
So,
Jesse and Randall do also do a good job of taking if people get off track, they'll move it to the appropriate place or put it
okay.
in a private chat or something. So
But it sounds like
yeah, it's a
Excalibur's
huge
the
job
place
for
to
them.
be.
So
Yes.
you can just pop in and say stuff on any of them. Like,
Yeah, you just write any comment, ask a question, add a like they have um, books that you like, books that you didn't like, just to give other people, ideas.
okay. Oh, doing it on the computer, that might be better.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Way better already.
So I'm showing you my Discord. Um, yeah, so like when you see all the bolds over here, they
Uh-huh.
are that this something has happened there that I do not keep up with Discord. But if you hit like POV discussion, wow, that one's not doing it for me. Yeah, like see how this one has a bunch I haven't seen? I
You
can
have to
just hit
scroll.
up here in this corner, I can hit mark as read and
Mm.
it makes it unbold it, which
Oh, I just scroll through without reading it and then it unbolds it too because I
you
don't like
you
having them bolded. It's like, no, there's something I have to look at.
right. So you can scroll through to the bottom and it'll unbold it, or you can just hit all mark as read. And I can't keep
Where's the
up.
Excalibur one?
It's
Oh, it's
down.
down a little.
It's its
Uh,
own.
there we
There it is.
go.
Yes,
Ah,
there
Excalibur
it
okay.
is.
General.
P of A. So
Yeah.
that general is just them like giving announcements and stuff. And then the POV, you're in a workshop when it's actually going on, you'll see the people listed under there that are in there. And that's just like this. It's like a Zoom call.
Yeah, this is a live. If
Oh.
somebody's in there, yeah. And then, oop, oh, I'm voice connected. Yeah,
Hey,
get
you're
out.
in.
Get, I don't know. I don't know how to get out. I'm in it
Well,
and
the
I
first
don't
time I
need to
went in by
be.
mistake and I was, I don't know how to get out. I just closed my computer, put it under the bed.
Panic.
I think
And then, of course, the one under pets is always fun. People put pictures of their pets. Did you see Randall's new dog, by the way, his chocolate lab puppy?
I
So
can't
cool.
I can't get out of it. Tell me how to. Oh, that'll do it. I closed Discord, but closing Discord can be for me it can be awful because then I can't get
Oh,
back
yeah, I've had
sometimes.
that before.
But
It won't let you back in.
oh my God, I can't get
And
out.
then the one at the top that was celebrations and rejections, that's if you get published in a journal or something, you can put it there so everyone can celebrate. And if you get a rejection, they thought it would be good for people to realize that everybody gets rejected. So,
Wait, how
Yeah,
do I
that one's
get?
a good one. I've actually looked at that
yeah.
one. Go, hey, go down to the bottom where it
Oh,
has the settings, and I think
oh, down here I can get out,
you can
right?
mute yourself, right?
Oh,
No, go down,
Just
keep
no,
going.
that's good. I just wanted to get out of it. I'm good.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, I couldn't figure out how to get out.
Is the
and
good
then bingo, they've started where people will set up bingo cards of what they want to accomplish that month, and then they'll cross them off. It's all really a cheerleading thing. Like, let's get
Yeah.
behind everybody. Everybody's a community.
And I
Yeah,
didn't
it's
I
a
put
like
lot
my
of
that.
bingo,
great
I didn't,
information.
I did a bingo card for the summer and I haven't put it up. I can't believe I didn't do this. Oh, wow. For a second, I thought that was mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, so there's all kinds of things. And then there's sometimes somewhere down there's a gabbing channel because sometimes there's a writing channel and then people were talking in it. So they're like, move over to
Mm.
the gabbing channel if you want to, right. Yeah.
Yeah, they used to have those writing sprints. I've never done it, but I
Yeah,
think
the
Allison,
focus
you'd
zone.
like
There we
that,
go.
where it's
Yeah.
just, yeah, here we're gonna get on so that we make ourselves right, but you don't talk, you just work while you're on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they have
And
little breaks.
so then you can reach out, to the channel and be like, hey, does anybody want to go do focus zone? And you both pop into focus zone and just focus. But it's accountability to be working the whole time. It's
cool.
it's weird. Yeah. I accidentally popped up into one that Randall and Jesse were in, like a year ago when I didn't know how to do this at all. So it's very overwhelming, but it's very forgiving. Nobody gets upset if you don't know what you're
Oh,
doing.
they're the nicest people. Yeah. It's like you can't go wrong doing anything on this.
Yeah. And
Thank you.
they want the channel to get, a little more focused. They really are trying to make it very much a writing space. How do we focus on writing?
Mhm.
I will say, I compared to the phone, like doing it here is my answer because it's
This
really,
works.
really
This
nice.
format works really well for me. I really need that. Like, I know you have no time enough, but I wish there was more of these or more I can join where I'm just forced to on a consistent basis. I
Hmm.
told my husband, I'm like, I can't miss this one. I missed one and then I go a month and that sucks. So,
Yeah.
just that constant cadence
Yeah,
in
that's
a
why I
right.
sign up for Flash classes, and all of them include a writing component. And I'm wasting
Yeah.
my money on the Smoke Long quarterly summer because I haven't been able to keep up with it. Just life. My
Oh,
husband had surgery, and it's been really busy. But that it works. So
Yeah.
I agree. If you can afford things, sign up for them, or all the free things, do that too. Because
Yeah,
that.
that's why the school works for me. I need to be held to the fire of you have to do this. Here's a prompt, or here's I can rise to a challenge, but I even if I try and challenge myself, it doesn't work. It has
Yeah.
to be,
Yep.
you know, I'm a
Yeah.
blank
And
slate. Tell me what to do. What do you want me to perform? I'm like a trick dog. What do you want me to do? Okay, I'll
right.
do it. And sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. But more often than not, it works. Where you just force me and say, "All right, here you go," and I'm pliable that way.
Yeah, and that's a big reason that I'm doing the MFA. I want to be better at being a genre editor, but also I know I'll have to draft my first book.
Mm.
I mean, my first fiction book. I have lots of work towards fiction books, and I've drafted my memoir, but all of them are being rewritten now.
I have a
Yay.
question for you on that. Do you know if so? In one of the courses early on, setting and story or something, I set up a book I want to write and did all of well, I did way more than you should because you know how I am, right? I have 184 pages. This is when I was telling you about 184 pages of all the outline of all the characters, all the setting, all the stuff. I mean, it's ready to go. I just have to sit down and write it. So that's what I want to use for my MFA when I start that next. Are they going to tell me that's self-plagiarism because I had you
Did you
know.
turn in the only way?
I did turn it in, but I'm not great. The whole thing is not what I was supposed to do, but I did turn it in, as my outline.
Oh,
And she's
was
like, that
that
she's the one that told me like, oh, this is a dissertation. What are you doing here?
so? Is that 520 probably where you're outlining a novel?
Yeah.
And I know Jessie said she used her novel outline from 520 to write her thesis. So you can do that.
Okay, good. Because I'm worried about that because I that one's still floating in my head where I really what that is the one I want to write. That is the big Mamu, right? So
Yeah.
I'm
The
hoping I
big
can use that.
the big thing that you have to do, one, tell your instructor how you had done this and you had uploaded the outline into the 520 class. And then two, say, of course, I'm not working from that original material, only I'm rewriting. And when you
Yeah.
upload it, and I can put this document in the chat while you guys are writing this first thing. When you upload it, check on the Turnitin score. And if the Turnitin score is red or yellow, you're going to have to change it more from what you had previously uploaded in Brightspace because the MFA reads the Brightspace in the MA and so
Mm.
you'll have to check your Turnitin score. The frustrating thing is you can't check it until you upload it. So,
Mm.
if you upload it and it gives you a red score, email your instructor and say, "Huh, I'll fix this. I promise you I'm not self-plagiarizing," but and they may say, "No, no, you're fine," and then you'll be fine for the rest of the course. But
Well, I
someone
mean, the
like
hard
me,
thing is it's like it's the outline and all the stuff. It's not the actual writing, and that's what I'm
oh,
supposed to do is
then
the
it's
actual writing. So it's
Yeah,
like,
so it should be fine.
there's no story to it. It's just 184 pages of the research behind it and all it because it's a,
yeah, yeah. But you
intense
are
thing.
going to be asked to do some of that outlining and research in the
Yeah.
MFA. And so if you're using the same material, it could match as all. And if
Mm.
all it has to be is enough of a change from what you had. You just
Yeah.
have to be green. It's like
Well, good to
only
know because I was
only
getting nervous about
30% of
that.
it can overlap.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
you also need the thesis for the MA, right? So you wouldn't use it for that?
I
No,
don't
because
think you don't have to write a novel in this one though,
you don't. You
right?
have
So I,
it's shorter than a novel. If you
okay.
think you're going to
I
do the
still don't
MFA,
exactly know what's in the thesis classes.
I don't either. I've never taught them, but if you think you're going to do the MFA, I would save something that you've practiced, like put together this big for the MFA because you do have to
Yeah.
write a book manuscript for that. And I
Because
know
I
how
thought the
prolific
MA
you
was
are. You
more
can write something
literary.
new for the MA.
So in the MA, is it more literary or is it more
Doesn't have to be.
research? Like it could be
I
It's
anything.
the story.
Yeah, you
It
can have a
depends which
creative
one.
writing
If it's
thesis.
fiction,
It depends on what your focus is.
like Jesse said, her MA thesis was the story that she had outlined for 520, and it was a fictional story.
Hmm. No,
But
I think I want to save it.
if you have a
But
literary focus and you're doing a literature MA, then
no,
your
mine's
thesis,
creative writing, so I'm gonna
yeah,
have
so
to.
it'll be a story.
Ugh.
Okay.
I can't imagine doing a literary thesis. Ugh, I finally finished my lit classes. So
I
happy.
I
Well,
did a whole
I wanted to
dissertation
do
and I
one.
survived.
Yeah,
I would,
but
if
you're
I was forced
brilliant.
to do it, I wanted to do one. If I was forced to write some sort of research on literary, I have a theory that came from one of the classes that I wanted to expound on about Poe, and there's upcoming research. I think I've told you this before about autistics and the style that autistics write in and neurodivergent
Um,
people, and it's not exactly grammatically correct, but people like Poe exhibit, the kind of style of writing of what they're finding out when they research is the trends and how, like the ellipses, parentheses, hyphens, all the stuff, that we tend to segue and have those side commentaries and trailing thoughts. He was very much so of that style. And so I kind of wanted to do some more research on that. Anyway, total tangent, but
Yeah,
well, that sounds like a PhD thesis,
yeah, it
actually.
does. It
Like that's
does.
the kind of thing you do for those, right?
yeah, yeah.
Could be. Yeah. Hey, Al, you want
All
to
right, back
write?
on track. I totally derailed that. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Asking questions is an important part of this, actually. So I have an opening phrase for you to begin with, which is when they turn the corner. You can turn they into he or she if you want. I was just being gender neutral. Or you could have it be plural. It's up to you. I didn't want to hem you in. And then I'm setting the clock. You'll begin with those words. And in 30 seconds, I'll come in with your first improv word. And just to distract Lori, they're coming from your piece. This one is. So here we go. Everybody go ahead and start writing, and I'll throw your first word shortly. Your first word is called, called, and it's in the chat if you don't understand me. Your next word is yellow, yellow. Nickname, nickname. Crashing, crashing. Possessed, possessed. Twin, twin. Squirt, squirt. Soaked, soaked. wisp, wisp. Your final word is fight, and you have a minute left. Okay, time is up. Could you figure out where most of them were in your story, Lori? Don't worry, all the rest of them I sat around the office here and it had to be a word I could see when I set this up before we, yeah. So you won't be distracted for the rest of these. Okay, so kind of breathe for a second, shake your hand out, whatever, because this is speed round. We're about to go at it again. This is just cruel. Okay, so for the next one, I'm going to ask you to start with a word, a phrase kind of like yesterday, he, she, they found out. And then basically you can wonder what is in my office because I'm going to throw
All
you words
right.
that I can see from where I'm sitting.
I
But
spy.
although the first word, I modified something to make the first word happen, so it's not truly in front of me, but all the rest of them I can see in this form. Okay, so I'm going to kick you off. Yesterday, whoever found out. Go for it. Vomited. Vomited. Love. Love. Roasted. Roasted. Perfect. Perfect. 200. 200. Cascade. Cascade. Bold. Bold. Nutrition. Nutrition. Pack. Pack. Working. Working. And you have a minute left. All right. Time is up. I could really picture this one being weird. I'm looking for faces to reemerge. You guys are like,
So
I'm writing, I'm writing. How's your hand? You need to shake it out. Okay, we're going to dive into the next one. This is so great because you get so much writing when we do these speed rounds, and I just think that's a gift for anybody who needs the time to write. So the kickoff phrase I have for you is for the umpteenth time. Allow me to say, if you have something else to write, you can always just kick off with your own phrases. I should have said that to start with. But your kickoff phrase is for the umpteenth time, and in 60 seconds, I'll come back with your unexpected first word. Go ahead and start. Your first word is math. Math. Sugar. Sugar. Afford. Afford. Dog. Dog. Food. Food. Crab. Crab. Quill. Quill. Smooth. Smooth. dark, dark. Energize, energize, and you have a minute left. Okay, everybody, do your best to wrap things up. I'm just watching the big sigh come as you guys are like, oh, okay. Okay, so the last thing that I want to ask is either you can pick, we're going to do one or the other of these. I do have 10 more words if we want to do a improv, or you can pick a favorite line from one of the three you've already written and keep exploring that story. Which way would you like to go?
All my lines are garbage, so it doesn't matter to me.
I feel like that too.
All right, well then we will improv one more. Clearly one of my headphones just stopped giving me input. That's awesome. Y'all are just in my right ear. Okay, there we go. Are you ready? Awesome. Oh, I got to write down the thing. So, mm, it starts with yesterday they, he, she, whatever, walked. So I will kick you off with 30 seconds and give you your first word in 30 seconds. Good luck. Zest, zest, comfort, comfort, graphic, graphic, Singer, singer. Servings, servings. Gin, gin. Map, map. Wand, wand. Bridge, bridge. Paper, paper. You have a minute left. Okay, your time is up. My left ear is not talking again. I can see somebody earnestly mowing the lawn behind you.
Oh, I wondered. I'm allergic to cut grass, and I thought, geez, I can't breathe all of a sudden. And Todd's out cutting the grass.
Oh, so you can't mow the lawn.
Oh,
That's
I do. I just swell up and use Vicks.
oh no. My mom used to smear Vicks on my chest when I was a child, and I thought that was just, I don't know, like adding the Antichrist to my chest because it felt so gross and it smelled so bad. And it worked.
So hard to wash off too. Couldn't wash it
Yeah,
off.
yeah,
But now as an adult, I'll get it and at least huff it, out of the jar when I'm feeling
yeah.
really bad because it works. It's horrible though. I can hear it going done and then it's not giving me your guys' voices. Say something.
I literally just had to order new
Hello.
ones for that reason.
Well, it works most of the time, but it's not working here, so I'll leave my left ear open because that's more pleasant anyway. He likes to breathe. Well, 4 improvs in a row. How are you feeling?
Four garbagey stories in a row.
I think there's a rule about that. What
Yeah,
is it?
brilliant, brilliantly
Thank you.
garbagey stories.
Uh, just because you're like the OG Lori doesn't mean you get to break the rules.
Yeah.
I felt
Well,
like I was constantly starting something, but never actually getting to what I wanted to say. Like, which in like past times, it's gotten me somewhere where I didn't realize I wanted to go. And some of
uh,
them are there, but
I wonder would it be fun to do this where we improv for 5 minutes and then have 5 minutes to keep writing instead of one?
maybe. But if it's crap, then you don't want to keep writing 5 more minutes of it.
Yeah.
But maybe like take a minute, reread it, and find a gem, and then spend 5 minutes writing.
And that's
Something like
actually
that.
what we normally do. Like this when my friend taught me how to do this when I was at the Bennington writing seminars, and you do the improv one, but then you take your best line and you write another one for 6 minutes. So yeah, so I could do it that way next time too, but it was really fun to throw words at you all. And I'm sort of famous for forgetting to throw the word, and I finally learned to set my timer for 30 seconds instead of do a 5 minute timer and go, oh, 30 seconds has already gone by. So I was much
I
better than I usually am.
I want to know how much vomit you have in your office.
That's the one word I'm trying to figure out where I got it from. And I think it was because I told you I fudged on it. I looked,
Yeah.
I have this thing. It's called a relief band. Have you ever heard of this? So if you get nauseated, like especially seasickness or
Oh,
whatever,
okay.
you can put this on and it shoots electricity out
Oh,
of
I've heard of
these.
that. Yeah.
You put them across your wrist here. So it's not like pressure, it's through electricity, but your nausea signal goes through your arm. Anyway, I looked down at the watch and I was thinking how sick Lauren was
Oh,
feeling this morning and said,
oh, yeah.
vomited. No vomit in my office. All the others are words that I can see. I have a coffee mug that says, I've done the math. We can't afford the dogs anymore. And
Aw.
it's got a cat on it. So they all
Oh,
come from the first.
that's funny.
Yeah, and I have from the before days, I have a Hogwarts card. So that's where the map and the wand came from. It had the Marauders map and then a
Oh,
wand.
yeah. I had a t-shirt like that. Somebody gave
So
me.
fun. And clearly I had food on my desk. I had a bag that had potato chips and nutrition and sugar and anyway, did anybody get anything you're willing to read? It can be air quotes brilliant. That's fine.
I don't know if anybody makes sense to read. I'm
I'm
reading them
laughing
over,
because
going, which one isn't
I
worth
know.
anything?
I've a lesson learned for me. Give you time to reflect. Would you rather have 6 minutes to write from a line from one now? And it'd run
Mm.
us over, but we could do a quick read.
It's funny where these stories go when you throw out words. It's like I guess if you approach it with don't expect it to be anything that has like a fully buttoned up plot or any, a
Yeah.
point. Like you don't know what direction you're going in. It just kind of meanders in some weird ways, which is interesting though.
No, I think it's super fun to derail that inner editor that's like, I've got a story going this way. And then,
Yeah.
the word zest shows up and you're like, or it's going this way. And it's kind of fun. One of the pieces of advice that I've been trying to pass on, and Melissa, I don't think I said this to you because I get my kernel about, I don't know, 5 to 10 students in. I'm like, this is what I really need to tell everybody. And so I forgot to, in the first couple of people, really emphasize radical revision this week because we're going to do massive revision for Module 7. And a lot of people have, really ready to go stories that are fine. So what this does, this improv thing, is it rattles up your inner editor because your inner editor knows where you're going. So for 529, this is a little teaching moment. You think you know what your story is because you just drafted it, right? And so then I ask people to do something crazy like change the point of view, have somebody else write it, do whatever, write a whole new scene. And in the radical revision, you'll be like, but I already have 2,500 words. No problem. Write the scene and decide if it belongs in there, and you'll have to change it out, right? And so the idea is you think you have your story locked in, but it turns out that there's so much more context to the story. You have to ask yourself, is there more that was supposed to be in the story? Is there, like it's just a question of what has your inner editor said, nope, we're done. And it turns out maybe, yes, that could go in there. That is not the way I'm saying it to anybody in the verbal feedback. But anyway, and
But
so
that's what I use this for. Like that's what I was trying to do because there's like this part of Enya's story. That's the story I've been working on for this class, and about the brother that isn't there anymore, and it's like something real that's going on right now. And so I was like really trying to dive in with this, and so that's why I said I bet there's little lines in here that rattled something up that would work for
that's
something.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't
That's kind
know.
of the same thing. I'm reading these going, all right, I wouldn't necessarily continue what I got because I was going off of words being thrown out, but there's kind of an idea here. And what if I did something with this?
That's awesome.
Like, I
And
don't know.
That's
I'll
probably
read.
better than just
and the
sorry.
technique that I offer to people that is really weird and it seems impossible and it seems stupid, but it's wildly successful is to take the story that you have right now in the form it's in and cut it in half word count. So if you have 2,500 words, cut it in half to 1,200 words, and then cut it in half one more time to 600 words. But do it in the two processes because it's too hard to just go down to 600 words. Plus, the cutting in half is a method of trimming around things, and so then you'll trim again. And the beating heart of your story will be sitting there when you get done cutting it in half twice. If you have a longer story, like if you use this later and you have, say, a 10,000 word story, or you're doing it to a chapter or something, you really should cut it in half 3 times. But I realized when I was telling somebody this in feedback this week, I said, oh, 3 times is really too many times for a 2,500 word story because you get down to like 300 words. But what's sitting there, that has to be in your story. And then you say, well, I'm going to put, a little bit of tinsel here, I'm going to hang an ornament there, or whatever, and you build it back out. But if you've done the work you're talking about, Melissa, of like writing about the brother's part of the story or adding some context here or there, outside of the story writing you're doing, when you cut it in half those times, it gives you the space to put something new back in. And so
Mhm.
it's a lot of work, but I've done this technique before and it does work. Another one that you don't really have time for in this class, but is really effective, is to put it away and get enough distance from it that you can't exactly remember it. And then, without ever looking at it again, write it over. And it won't be exactly the same, but some parts of it will be almost exactly the same. And then, if you had time, you would put it away and do this over again like 4 or 5 times. That's what Susan Cheever told me to do. You never have time for that. But I did it once where I did it 3 times. And it turns out that the true core of the story would always emerge in my writing. I did still want to say the same things, but the way I told it was different and the details that got in could be different. Any details that remained were details that really should be there. So it's kind of mind games, but that's a really great way to, because your brain does it. It's like, ta-da, I have a story. And you have to play a little bit of games with it in order to have anything new happen once your brain is convinced it's done its job.
I'll read mine.
Oh, okay, great.
There's 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 a couple. These are interesting. They're short, but they're interesting. Um,
Okay.
when he turned the corner, Jerry came face to face with a rotund black cat blocking his pathway. Stopping abruptly, he called out a hello there and watched as the feline's piercing yellow eyes narrowed, staring intently. He had a nickname in his childhood for these creatures that always showed up blocking his path, and it came crashing back to him from memory. The Knowables, he named them. They followed him around whenever he did something bad, like they possessed knowledge they should not have understood, but a mind like a twin to his could see into his very soul all the things he buried and locked away. This time, however, a little squirt of a kitten sprung from behind the big fat pear-shaped ball of fur and sat to the left of the original cat. Jerry stood there, soaked to the bone, though he clung to an umbrella and watched as the wisp of a kitten lifted one paw, licked it twice, and rubbed it over its head, never losing eye contact with him. The cat of his nightmares was back, and it had brought a minion, and it was not going to be his typical fight.
Mhm.
Just weird.
I like that.
I
Oh
loved
no.
it. That was another one of those cases where we wouldn't have known you were having words thrown at you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really, I love these because it's hard. It's so hard. And the words just like, I have no idea where I'm going to go with the next sentence. But I don't know. Listen to these other ones. These are interesting since nobody else volunteered. So I'll just keep going.
Oh, well,
Um,
just to make sure, does anybody else want to read what you got after having heard Allison's?
I can read the one
Doesn't matter.
that's like the heart of why I want to add something to the brother.
Okay.
And try not
Yeah.
to be sad about it because it's kind of true. All right.
Oh,
Yesterday, she
Oh.
found out it was too early in the morning to get news, especially news like this. They had wondered all night, they being various shades of relations, from worried to vomiting.
can I
Someone
interrupt you?
said there was hope. Yeah.
I'm so sorry. My husband just wrote me a text that says he thinks he needs to go to the hospital. So,
Oh no.
yeah,
Yeah. Get out.
Go,
I
go,
Go.
go.
apologize.
Go.
Yep. Okay. Bye, everybody.
okay.
Good luck.
Bye.
Thanks.